Welcome back. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is the Know Yourself Talk Show. I'm your host, Brian McCoy, and today's guest is Ms. Reese Williams, CEO and founder of NAC. Now, NAC, what is that exactly? What is it? What does it stand for?
Well, it's not another child. And the premise of not another child, or of NAC, is that not another child be prostituted or manipulated like the 15-year-old was, and not another child be innocently killed as my son was.
Now tell me, what does NAC do?
NAC, right now, we have been establishing our name in the community through events for the youth. We have an ongoing basketball tournament, the King Ron Playing for Change tournament. This is actually our 4th year.
Wonderful.
That we'll be doing it, and it is something that the community is starting to look forward to. Because of the demand from the youth, not only do we just have the one-day tournament, but this year we implemented 4 Fridays in July to have playoff games. Because we get a lot of interest from different teams, and then they're disappointed when there's no more room. So we've been just doing the playoff games for them, and on the championship day, then we'll have all of the teams come back and things like that. 2009, we implemented the Value Life Peace March. One of the things that I've realized over the course of these 4 years with working in the field and talking to mothers and talking to youth, our youth do not value life. They do not realize that once you make this decision of pulling this trigger, you do not know where this bullet is going to go, who it's going to hit, or anything like that. So exactly, it's always consequences behind something. So the Value Life Peace March, 2009, I actually had the courage to go back and stand on the step where my son dropped dead for the first time. And I was raised in that area, still have family there. But because of, what happened over there, I really went back. So the Peace March started on Truman Murray, in front of the building where Andrell was killed. We had Lance Oberstein, who's the counsel to the Kings County District Attorney. We had different people from organizations there. We had bike clubs there, but mostly we had other mothers there with pictures of their children, with their family members, with t-shirts, just showing the community that we do value life and that the lives that you've taken from us mean a lot. And we closed down major streets. We marched down Myrtle Avenue to Nostrand Avenue to Lafayette, which are really major streets in Brooklyn, and caused a kind of a ruckus, and caused the attention of the community. So we look forward to doing that again this year also. I wasn't sure if we would do it continually, but the response from last year and even the inquiries for this year has been so great till, I want to give the people an opportunity, to do something, to make a difference and to make a change. The other thing that we do is the Changemakers Benefit Gala. Whereas the other events are geared towards the youth, this event is geared towards adults that make a difference. Okay. And the Changemakers Gala, we do community officials, we do organizations, we do individuals that have started, organizations to rule their tragedy, which is the Tragedy to Triumph Award, and just tell them that we thank you for what you're doing, and please keep doing the good work.
Let me ask you something. You said you stood on the steps where your son was murdered.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time going back there and knowing that this is where you lost your baby, how did you feel the first day going back?
It took a minute. It took a minute. I actually stood across the street for a while. And even as I was standing there, I had to grasp my mother for strength and others that was around me, just to know, that this was the place that my son's life ended. Because as I sat in court, they showed like the visual of the area to show where my son was sitting and how he tried to run away, not knowing that he was running into the bullets because they were shooting to the front of the building, and he's thinking, if I can get into the building, I'll be safe. But he ran from point A to point B, which was in front of the building, and never made it inside. Over this past week and a half, I've been to 5 funerals. Everybody 19 and under. Stabbings, shootings, trying to help someone else. It's really, really getting crazy. And it's like, when you consistently do it and go to the funerals, it is a wear and tear on you as an individual. And I thought it was just me as a mother that has been through it. But I have a friend, Tony Herbert, that lives in East New York, and I met him from coming, and supporting mothers. And he actually had to pull away from it because it put him in a state of depression. To see Natasha Clark, who was 3 years old, get innocently murdered while visiting family members in East New York, her and her grandmother murdered. To see, it's another little boy, I believe he was 7 years old, walking home from school with his dad and his little brother, and not knowing they're walking through a drug war that's going on, and he gets killed. It takes a wear and tear on your body. And it's never enough. Until we see the statistics go down, it's never enough. And I think we underestimated at the end of the year, or I'm not going to say we, at the end of the year when Mayor Bloomberg makes his speech about crime in New York is down, and he's right. Overall crime in New York is down, but in major populations, in major places, murder is up. In East New York, in Bedford-Stuyvesant, in Brownsville, murder has been up for the last 2 to 3 years when he says that.
So tell me, when in this tragedy did you realize that God was still with you? Because we all know that, throughout everything, trials and tribulations, he's always there.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times what we focus on through tragedies that God isn't there, when actually he really is.
When I woke up the next morning, I was still in my right mind. When he started giving me scriptures to focus on, in all things give thanks, for this is the will of God concerning you. And I really had to study that scripture, in all things. And then, what was I thankful for? I just lost my child, and it's hard when you as a single parent raise your child by yourself and you protect them from everything, but then someone else's actions takes their life away. So I said, what do I have to give thanks for? Then I realized, and I looked around at all of the married couples that I know that has never been able to have children. I felt the love of a child. Different little things like that. I was able to then start giving thanks just for God allowing me to have a child like Andrell, to have a child like Ronnie. When God allowed, 2 weeks after Ronnie's homegoing service, a woman popped up at our Sunday morning worship. And she's in the back crying, and my girlfriend goes back and she says, are you okay? And she says, yes, I'm okay. She says, have you been here before? I was just at a funeral service a few weeks ago. And my girlfriend says, oh, you was at Ronnie's homegoing service. And this is an older lady. You must know his mom, Reese. And she says, I've never met his mother. I live in his cousin's building, and every time he comes over, he comes to my house. Or if I'm sitting outside, he'll come and see if I need anything from the store, just to make sure that I'm okay. So God gave me little signs like, you've done your job, and you've done it well. You didn't just have a child, but you had a kid. You had somebody that really people will never forget. I got an email from nowhere from a guy named Eric, and he's like, Miss Reese, I know you don't remember me. I'm little Mexican Eric. And Andrell used to always take us from the projects, from the east side, rollerblading, skating. He said that in his memory, we're looking for funding to open up a skate park in his name.
Really? That's awesome.
Yes, and he said it's because of people like him. Ronnie couldn't have been no more than 5 years old today. And he's like, we have to do something in his name.
But it just goes to show what an angel that he was to others.
Yeah.
He was a king to you, but he was an angel to others, young and old.
Exactly.
Now, how has this, besides the obvious, how has this changed your life?
It's made me more compassionate to people that lose children, because we look at TV and we see, I was looking at TV the other day, 8-year-old was shot, this one was killed, this one died of a disease, other things. Now it's made me more compassionate of, you know, growing up in the projects is such a normal thing till you can start to accept it as this is what happens. But it has made me so much more compassionate. It has made my ear become a part of the street even more with our youth and why they start to travel the roads that they travel. And it's just changed my life in so many ways.
What's the website to NAC?
Notanotherchild.org. And we're also on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Now, these events that you have, they're throughout the year, or there's certain times of the year?
Yes. The tournament is always on the Saturday on or before the 7th, which was the day our Joe was killed. It just so happens that this year it's actually on August 7th.
And when you realized that it was actually on the day,
yeah.
What went through your mind?
It was like, wow. Like, I'm going to remember kissing Andrell goodbye that morning. You know, meeting him in the train station because he couldn't find his keys and waiting for an hour almost, only to find out that my cousin was sick and he was trying to wait to see what was going on with her. But I'm underground, so I can't get any calls, and, you know, just being mad and being grateful that I did not leave, because that was the last time that I saw my son. And on that day, like I have done for the last 3 years, I'm gonna just mentally go through every hour of that day.
Here's what I want everyone to do. This is the flyer for the King Ron Play for Change tournament. It occurs on August 7th, 2010 from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. It's at the Banneker Playground between Lafayette and on the corner of Marcy. Please support. If you cannot support and you want to be of help, email or go on her website, www.notanotherchild.org. Let's support Miss Reese Williams so that we can prevent not another child from being lost. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'd like to take the time out to thank our guest for today, Miss Reese Williams, for sharing her story with us. And for those of you that are watching, please support her. Go to her website, www.notanotherchild.org. Support her so that we can help not another child from being lost. This has been another edition of Know Yourself Talk Show. I'm your host, Brian McCoy. Until next time, peace and love to you.
Know yourself.